Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith and this is very early in the day because I wanted to get this started really early so it has a long time to cook. In fact, it's so early I'm still in my PJs. But let's get started. This is a stewing hen. Now you obviously notice that it looks a lot scrawnier than your average roasted chicken or even fryer. And that's because it has lived a very long life. Now, the roasters and fryers that you buy in the store generally only lived about 3 months. This lovely lady can be up to 3 years old, which means she has so much flavor, it is amazing. But it also means she's a tough old bird. So we're going to have to cook her low and slow for a long time. But she's going to provide the most wonderful chicken meat and soup stock that you've ever tasted. So to get started, we're just going to cut her up. Take the legs off. Or actually, let's start with the wings, get them out of the way. Okay, now we're just going to give her a bit of a clean up because the way they clean chickens now, the kidneys are usually left in. We don't particularly want those, so let me just go remove those. Okay. And now we're going to put her in a big pot and cover her with water. So the reason these chickens are so much older than what you normally see is because these are the culled birds from flocks after they've stopped laying eggs. So they keep the birds a long time to lay, and then once they stop laying, they cull them out. And in the stores, they're generally about a third of the price of the fryers or roasters that you see. So I generally pick up 2 to 4 of them as soon as they're available. Just toss them in the freezer, and when I want to make stock or a huge pot of chicken soup, I'm ready to go. Let me just cover her with, it's actually hot water out of the kettle from when I made tea. Add in some seasoning. Yeah. Okay. A little bit of black pepper. Just about 8 or 10 peppercorns. And a couple of very nice big bay leaves. And then we'll put the lid on and bring it up to a light boil and then turn the heat down so that she simmers. And we're going to simmer the bird for up to 4 or 5 hours, depending on how much time you have. I mean, it doesn't have to take that long, but a minimum of 3 hours. The chicken stock has been on the stove simmering for 5 hours. And I've turned it off and let it cool for about 15 minutes, so it is still hot. But we are going to strain it out now and separate chicken from broth. And rather than trying to pour all that chicken in there and having it splash, make a mess, and possibly burn me, I'm going to use a large slotted spoon and pull the chicken out. And I used a glass bowl because I wanted you to see the beautiful color on that stock. Alright, now we're ready to start making the soup. So we're going to do about a tablespoon of safflower oil. Canola oil if you don't have safflower. In the same pot we cooked the chicken stock in. Now, I haven't cleaned it, so it does still have some chicken fat in it. And then we're going to add 1 large onion, chopped, about 3 ribs of celery, including the leaves, split lengthwise and then chop. Then we're going to cook these until the onion is translucent. So our pot is on a fairly low temperature because we're not browning anything. We just want to cook to soft, and that piece of celery has to go away. So this will take a couple of minutes, and then we can start adding the rest. Alright, the onions are sufficiently softened now. You can see that. We're going to add some salt. Not a whole lot. Maybe half a teaspoon. And we're going to put in our chopped vegetables. So we have green beans, carrots, red top turnips, or sorry, purple top turnips. And we're just going to stir those in there, get the salt mixed in. And then we want to add our seasonings. So we have I don't have a large one, so 2 small bay leaves. About a teaspoon of thyme, dried thyme. And a couple of teaspoons of dried parsley. I have 4 cups of chicken stock, which is the chicken stock we made earlier. We're probably not going to use all of it because it's very strong. Pour about 2 cups in there. And I'm going to add about 2 cups of water. Equal amounts chicken stock and water. Then we're going to bring it to a boil. And once it starts to boil, we'll cover it, reduce the heat, and simmer, well, a strong simmer or low boil for about 15 minutes till the vegetables are soft. Soup is starting to bubble. We're going to put the lid on, and we're going to turn the heat down. To a fairly low temperature, because it takes a while for the burner to cool, so it is going to continue to boil for a little bit, and then we're going to give it about 15 minutes till the vegetables soften, and we'll be back with the rest. Alright, now that your vegetables have softened, we're going to taste for seasoning. And I think it could do with a little more salt. So the next step is to add your pasta. Now I have about 3/4 of a cup of Orzo. I'm just going to pour that in there. Give it a stir. And I'm looking at the level of liquid in there and thinking, because the Orzo will absorb some of it, we are going to add some more. But another cup and a half. And get it back up to a boil. And then we are going to, once it starts to boil, turn the heat down a bit and cook it for about 15-20 minutes until your pasta is done. And the last step will be to add the chicken. Alright, it's been cooking for approximately 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. So we're going to give it a little check to see how our pasta's doing. And it is beautiful. So we're going to turn the heat back down since it is bubbling away quite fiercely. Now when you're looking at this, if it looks a little too thick to you, go ahead and add in more chicken stock or more water depending on the flavor. And I think we have enough chicken stock in there, so I am going to add water. And we do want a fairly thick soup, but we don't want porridge. And now we are going to add our beautiful chicken. And look at the color on that. That tells you that that chicken has a lot of flavor in it. So we're just going to add that in there. And let the chicken reheat. At this point you can actually turn the heat right off. Now I did remove the fat from the top of the chicken stock before we put it in. And if you look at the color of that, do not throw that beautiful stuff away. Save that. You can use it as a fat in the pan to cook your onions in for a pasta dish, or like garlic, or for whatever, instead of just olive oil or butter. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So there is our lovely chicken noodle soup. It is the ultimate chicken soup, and it is absolutely fantastically delicious. I hope you enjoyed the recipe and enjoyed watching the video. Drop it a like, make a comment, and please subscribe. I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll be back again soon with a new recipe. Thank you very much for watching.